What is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to another Destiny gameplay video. Hey, this video I'm just going to kind of share my thoughts so far on Sparrow Racing and give you some of my items on my wish list for this event in the future. So first and foremost, let me just say that I spent most of my night last night racing with Resolute guys and gals, and we just had a ton of fun. And that being said, this event to me is primarily, it's firstly a social event, and secondly, it's competitive. So if you treat it like it is, a very competitive activity, then you may be a little bit disappointed. It's primarily a social activity. We just had a ton of fun, just goofing off and getting under each other's skins, and it was a blast. It was just a lot of fun. But if you treat it as a highly competitive activity, you may be a little bit disappointed at some of the mechanics of it. If you're really trying to perfect your skill. But I'll get into that in a second. But so for my wish list, I want to share kind of some of the things I would like to see, because I do really enjoy the more technical, well-refined racing experience, and there are some key elements in that experience that I would love to see incorporated into Sparrow Racing. And ran into the wall there. I did end up winning this race, but I think this was like my second time ever playing on this track. But I did get much more smooth on, and you will get much more smooth on these tracks as you learn them and start to understand how to take certain corners and whatnot. But anyways, and by the end of the night, we were all working like a well-oiled machine, understanding sort of where to go and what shortcuts to take and all that kind of business. But anyways, back to the wish list. First and foremost, I want a rear view mirror. I want to be able to look behind me. It's kind of important in racing games. If you can just kind of tap a button and just quickly see behind you and see who's closing the gap and on what side of you they're trying to make a move, that sort of thing. So rear view mirror would be number one on my wish list. And these are not in like order of importance. It's just the things that I wrote down. So rear view mirror. Second thing, I would like to see some minor tweaks to how the geometry of the map affects your speed and trajectory. Because there were several times where I was out in front, had a solid lead, and just because I sort of kind of landed in a certain way on like a very tiny rock or just some small thing, it completely stopped me dead in my tracks. And some of that is understandable. If you run into a wall, obviously that's going to happen. But if you just kind of land at a different angle than the person behind you, and they carry all of their momentum and you just lose all of yours, that's kind of frustrating. So maybe just some minor tweaks to how the landscape itself can affect your momentum and trajectory. So that's another thing. Also, because I like to compete against myself first and foremost, I want to see maybe on the left side of the screen where it shows instead of your total time, or maybe under your total time, two more numerical values. I want to see my best lap so far in this race, and I want to race against myself, so trying to beat that in laps 2 and 3. I want to see my best lap time of this current race, but I also want to see my best lap time ever on this track as I'm racing. So I'm trying to race against that clock, and those are one of the things that really push me forward in racing games, is trying to outperform myself in certain areas on certain maps. And so I would love to have that. Also, better rewards for first. It seems pretty random. I don't know if there is like a better chance of getting something if you're in first, but in my hours of playing this, that I did not experience that at all. I saw lots of legendary drops, just completely random across the boards, whether you're in first or last. I got kind of hosed in first place rewards a few times, but I would like to see some more consistent high tier rewards drop for first place. I am highly performance based in my thinking in terms of getting rewards. I think if you perform well, you should be rewarded for it, just like in school or in the workplace environment. Those who perform the best are rewarded the best, and that's just how it is. That's just sort of my approach to things. Anyways, That being said, moving on to the next thing, I want, and this is a big one. All the other things on the wish list so far have been relatively small, but this is a big one. This would be hard to do, I think. It would require a lot more effort on Bungie's end, but I would absolutely love to see a garage. If you're going to have Sparrow Racing be a thing, most race games thrive on having a garage space where you can view all of your vehicles. You can cycle through them and compare stats. And I know that the Sparrows were supposed to perform the same way. I don't think they should. I think that for most racing games, part of having personal style is deciding. I think that they need to make small, minor tuning options. Like you can sacrifice maybe a little bit of your top speed on the straights, and sacrifice that, trade it off for faster acceleration. So if you're coming out of turns, being able to get up to speed faster. Maybe you want to sacrifice braking for better cornering. Stuff like that. Just so being able to sort of fine-tune your Sparrow and how it performs just a little bit, so it's not completely identical to everyone else's, and that'll add some replayability as you're sort of playing around. Oh, do I want like a Corvette style that's gonna turn like a boat, but when I open it up on the straights, it's just gonna crush everything? Or do I want something that's gonna be great in the corners? It's just gonna take hairpin turns like a boss and sacrifice very little speed as it does it. But on those straights, you really have to have a solid lead if you wanna stay out in front. So you're gonna take your lead in the turns, not on the straights. So being able to sort of fine tune stuff like that's important to me. So just as a heads up, guys, there are some shortcuts. Make sure you're looking for them. I won't spoil them for people who like to sort of discover those things on your own. But there are some different ways that you can take that will help you improve your lap time and maximize your chances of coming out on top. So hopefully this was enjoyable. And guys, we will catch you in the Crucible or on the track. Take it easy.